Hey guys, Cartropolis TCG. Today we have special guest Rhihan. Is going to do a deck profile on this like budget Regidrago deck. It looks like. But yeah, I guess we'll just let Rhihan get started. So, what's like the general game plan of this deck?
Just like any other deck, you're going to be focusing on two-shotting Pokemon VMAX,
Okay.
or consistently one-shotting Pokemon V with this at a low price card trade.
Okay, so you each kind of keep taking hits, and then you end up ahead because you're only playing one prize Pokemon.
Yep.
Nice. All right, so I guess we'll start with the Pokemon.
To start off, we got 4 Regidrago. It's a basic Pokemon with 130 health, a Dragon type, which recently has just been reintroduced to the Pokemon. It has no weakness, no resistance, and a 3 retreat cost. Its first attack for 2 colorless is Hammer In for 30 damage. Its second attack for 2 grass and 1 fire is Dragon Energy for 240 damage. This attack does 200 less damage for each damage counter.
20 less.
20 less damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon.
Okay.
So, against spread decks, you're going to be doing a large amount of damage less than you normally would be, so that's a problem. You are going to be focusing on using that attack consistently and being able to knock out their VMAX and Vs with it. Next up, we have 3 Cherubi. Cherubi is a basic grass Pokemon with 50 health. It has a 1 retreat cost, and we're really just using it to evolve into Cherum.
So you don't really attack with it?
Yeah, not really.
It doesn't have like a relevant attack?
No, 1 grass energy, leafage does 20 damage.
Oh, okay. So nothing great.
Cherum is a stage 1. It evolved from Cherubi with 80 HP. Its ability is Spring Bloom. As often as you like during your turn, you may attach a grass card from your hand to one of your Pokemon that doesn't have a rule box. Pokemon V and Pokemon GX are examples of Pokemon with rule boxes.
Okay, so you can attach a grass energy from your hand to any of your Pokemon.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can. That's how the main way you will be powering up Regidrago.
So if you get 2 of those out, you can attach fire energy from your hand and then 2 grass energy from hand to the Regidrago and attack.
No, it's as many times as you like.
Okay. That's even better. So you only need 1. Sweet.
Next up is Appleton. It's a basic Applin. It's a basic Pokemon with 48 HP. It's a grass type. We're not going to be using it, but it has an okay stalling attack. For 1 colorless energy, withdraw, flip a coin. If heads during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon isn't affected by any attacks or damage. So
nice. It's
really good for just stalling if your entire hand or bench is stuck.
It doesn't stop like poison or burn, but it stops all the damage.
So it will momentarily stall your opponent if they have nothing.
Nice.
Next up, we have 2 Flapple and 1 Appleton. The Flapple is a stage 1. It has 80 health, a Dragon type Pokemon. Its attack for 1 colorless energy is Acidic Mucus. It does 50 times damage. This attack does 50 damage for each of your opponent's Pokemon in play with an ability.
Okay, so that's like a anti-meta kind of thing.
Yeah. A huge anti-meta, just like Appleton coming up.
I feel like that would destroy Rayquaza.
Destroys Rayquaza, destroys
Eternatus,
yep. And it does okay against Shadow Rider.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like it would hit a lot of stuff. Like, even the metal decks have like Bronzong, Zacian, Zamazenta, like, okay.
Yeah, but you can just one-shot those with Regidrago 240 as well. So it's a good alternate attacker. Its second attack for 1 grass and 1 fire is Fighting Tackle, 80 plus damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon V, this attack does 80 more damage. It's not irrelevant to the build, but it's not your focus in this deck.
Yeah, because the numbers that hits isn't really too relevant, but it can 2-shot stuff, so that could come up.
It's usable, but not the main focus.
So the Appleton has the same attacks, just slightly better damage?
No.
Oh.
So Thick
it is different.
Appleton, stage 1, has 90 HP. For 1 colorless, Thick Mucus 70 times. This attack does 70 damage for each special energy card attached to your opponent's Pokemon. That's an anti-single strike deck where
Okay.
you use Houndoom and Capture Energy to power up. For each one, you do 70 damage, specifically one-shotting Umbreons and Urshifu's.
Okay.
Its second attack is also Fighting Tackle, just like the Flapple, doing 160 damage to their Vs. Has the 3 retreat cost, no resistance, and no weakness. The Flapple has a 1 retreat cost, which is usable.
Okay. Yeah.
Next up is Snorlax. It is a basic Pokemon with 130 HP. It's a normal type Pokemon. Its ability is Gormandize. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is the active Pokemon, you may draw until you have 7 cards in your hand. If you use this ability, your turn ends. So really good early game when you're just starting to get set up and you're going first. You use that ability, try to get to a low hand size as much as possible on turn 1. And then you can draw up to 7 cards, which is very useful early on. Setting up will be difficult, but not extremely difficult to the point where you're relying on Snorlax to get you out of a suck situation. That's all the Pokemon. They work really well together, especially the Cherim. That's going to be your main focus. If you see your opponent starting to get ready to knock out a Cherim, like they're accumulating bosses, or they're starting to be able to snipe Cherim to death, you want to be able to set up a new one as quickly as possible.
Okay. How many Pokemon is that?
That's 18 Pokemon.
Nice. All right, what supporters we got? Looks like we got a wide variety.
Yeah, very wide variety, low counts of most of them, but it's not as clunky as you might think. The first one is Marnie. Shuffle your hand and put it on the bottom of your deck. If you or your opponent does so in this way, you draw 5 cards and they draw 4. Really useful for disrupting and drawing your own cards.
Nice. Sonia's an old one.
Sonia, you can search your deck for up to 2 basic energy or up to 2 basic Pokemon. It's an or, not like Ordinary Rod or Clara. You can choose one or the other, but if you have a Regidrago in play and you only have 1 energy in your hand, it's useful for getting the other 2. Or maybe you have all the energy you need in your hand. You can get Regidrago or Cherubi or whatever Pokemon you might need that turn to get set up.
Nice.
Next up is Boss's Orders. Very useful in all decks. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon. Very disruptive and useful for drawing prizes.
It seems like it'd be good if like you do a ton of damage to one, like to 2-shot their VMAX, and then they try to switch it out, hoping you don't have bosses and you have one.
The boss comes really in handy when they try to run away. Professor's Research. Discard your hand, draw 7 cards. You don't want to be discarding too many cards because you're a 1-prize deck, but it's still very helpful with a draw engine in most decks. Next up, Rhihan. You can only play this card when one of your Pokemon was knocked out from an opponent's attack during their last turn. When you use this card, you can accelerate a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. So if your Regidrago just got knocked out, you can accelerate an energy back to another Regidrago and search your deck for whichever card you want. You don't have to show your opponent, but whatever card you want, whatever piece you may be missing, you can get it.
And you can grab like another like evolution Pokemon or
maybe another energy if you already had one in your hand. Next up is Clara. Choose one or both. Put up to 2 Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand. Put up to 2 energy from your discard pile into your hand. It's used to get back knocked out Pokemon and energy. So once the Regidrago gets knocked out, you can Clara for a lot of resources back.
Yeah, that seems good. You just bring back the Regidrago, maybe even a Cherubi that you discarded earlier, and grab like 2 energy. Yeah, seems strong.
How
many supporters is that? 11?
After the supporters. Yes, 11.
Nice. So a good amount of supporters, but not too many.
Next up, we got Pokemon Search.
Mhm.
We're using Quick Ball and Level Ball. Quick Ball lets you discard one card from your hand and search your deck for a basic Pokemon.
Okay.
It's used in all decks just to search out whatever basic Pokemon you may have.
It's really good in opening hand.
Level Ball, search your deck for a Pokemon with less than 90 HP.
Which is actually a lot of your deck.
Yeah. Besides the Regidrago and Snorlax,
Yeah.
everything else is under 90 HP.
Nice.
And that's why we are playing so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we play 2 Switch. A lot of our Pokemon have 3 retreat costs. Regidrago, Appleton, Snorlax, and Cherim has 2. That's a pretty high in a 1 prizer deck, I would think.
Yeah.
So we play some Switch. Energy Recycle.
Is the reason you're only playing 2 Switch is because you only need to switch out like your whatever Pokemon you start with into like either a Snorlax or a Regidrago?
And we have Scoop Up Net.
Yep.
So it's really just for getting out the Snorlax out of the active or getting whatever something you didn't want in the active that you started with out of there.
Oh.
Next up is Energy Retrieval. You can search your discard pile for 2 energy cards, up to 2 energy cards, and put them into your hand.
Seems good. Similar to like Clara getting stuff back after it's getting knocked out.
Yep. So once a Regidrago with 3 energy gets knocked out, you can Rhihan into another Regidrago, which accelerates 1 energy from your discard pile.
Probably the fire, and then you can
Yep.
use that to get the grass.
Yeah, you search your deck for the energy retrieval.
Nice.
You get the rest of your energy. It loops it back into
Yeah,
another Regidrago.
that seems good.
Next up is Scoop Up Net. Put one of your non-rule box Pokemon. Nope.
It's like
Put
non-V,
one of
non-G.
your Pokemon that isn't a Pokemon V or Pokemon GX into your hand. Discard all cards attached to it.
So everything.
So
What's the difference between like Switch and Scoop Up Net? Because they both do the same thing in the deck, but what situations would you rather have one or the other?
Okay, so Switch is usually for getting a Snorlax out of the active. Scoop Up Net can be used in the same way, but if you have a Regidrago in the active that's been damaged but not knocked out, and you're doing a lot less damage, Scoop Up Net would be a lot more optimal because it would get rid of the damage. Although it would get rid of the energy, you can always bring it back with energy retrieval.
Yeah. Okay.
Switch is really useful for getting things out of the active. Scoop Up Net is as well, but Scoop Up Net can get rid of damage, and it gets rid of energy. So
would you ever cut both switches for 4 Scoop Up Nets?
So the original list was 4 Switch and no Scoop Up Net.
Okay.
And then the more I played, the more I found that I needed Scoop Up Net in a lot of matchups.
Okay.
So I started moving 1 switch out for 1 Scoop Up Net, another switch out for another Scoop Up Net. By the time I went to 1 switch and 3 Scoop Up Net, I found myself needing more switches.
Okay.
So I came up to 2-2.
So it's just a testing thing?
Yep.
Nice.
Next up is Ordinary Rod. Choose one or both. Shuffle 2 Pokemon cards from your discard pile into your deck. Shuffle 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your deck. Recycling resources. It's really what you want to be doing in this deck. Recycle your resources, use them over and over again, consistently do damage.
Nice.
Next up is Palpad. Shuffle 2 supporters from your discard pile into your deck. Since you play a decent amount of supporters, but you play a low count of all of them, Palpad is used for recycling them and using them over and over again.
Which supporter do you put back the most with Palpad? Is it like Bosses or Rhihan?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Boss and Rhihan are your most prioritized supporters that you want to get back into the deck. Since you only play 2 of each and they're situational, you want to be able to have them when you need them.
Nice.
That's all the items
So
and
like
16. Next up we have 2 stadiums. Stormy Mountains. Once during each player's turn, they may search the deck for a basic lightning Pokemon or a basic dragon Pokemon and put it onto their bench. Then that player shuffles their deck.
Nice.
So you get a Regidrago onto your bench. You don't have to search for it and everything. As long as Storm Mountain stays in play, continually search for Regidrago whenever you need it.
Yeah, so it just kind of allows you to use your quick balls on something else.
We have 13 energy, 8 grass energy, and 5 fire energy.
How do you come to that conclusion? 5 seems like a lot when you only need 1 for your attack and you have ways to get it back.
It's really about hitting it when you need it.
Okay.
Say you quick ball one early and then the well runs dry, or maybe you prize a couple.
It's hard to recycle if you only have a couple.
With 5, even with the recycle, that's 7 attacks in total, and that's barely getting you through the game. If they play Crushing Hammer, or maybe you prize one, it makes it much tougher to get all 6 attacks.
Okay.
In, what's the word? Chain? Nope. Yeah. Over and over again. It's a synonym for that. Just 5 basic energy and no energy recycling like Rhihan Claw or energy retrieval leaves you with 5 attacks, and that's it. And then maybe they Crushing Hammer one that's on the bench, and then you only have 4 attacks now in the entire game with Regidrago. So 5 is nice, and then 8 you play more grass energy because Regidrago's attacks need more.
Yeah.
And you can accelerate it with Cherim, so you want to be having a lot of grass.
Nice. And have you played this deck a lot online?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
It's really good against the majority of decks if you know how to play it.
Okay. What are some bad matchups?
Bad matchups are Rapid Strike Urshifu and Dracopult VMAX.
Okay.
Just all the spread decks.
Yeah, because they can start knocking out your basics before you can even evolve them.
Yep, and Regidrago does a lot less damage when it's pinged.
Yep.
20 less damage for each damage counter. So that's 100 less damage if they ping you for 50 damage in a Dracopult matchup.
And then you can barely like 3-shot that maybe. Yeah, it feels bad.
3-shotting.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the deck profile. We'll have some matches with this coming up, hopefully uploaded right after this. But yeah, thank you, and bye.
Thank you. Bye.